Hello, I am your host, Haley Skywalker 2, and welcome to the TheForcebook Podcast. Today I'll be joined by Nemoidian Queen Lizzie and
the heating. Hello. Was I not
collector
supposed to speak yet?
You're supposed to speak when I'm supposed to after I say your name.
Sorry. Well, we're off to a good start.
Mental note. No, this is writing this down. Let guests speak. I can edit this when this is published. Just letting you guys know. I learned that last time. Okay. And I'll be joined today by Nemoidian Queen Lizzie.
The heating. Hello.
And later in the episode, we will be joined by Collector Dominic, aka Starkiller 10-1. He's running a little late, but when he comes in, we'll have our other co-host. But today I'm going to introduce our guest, Chris, aka Cerie Core Vault.
Yes, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to have you. I'm thankful that you have agreed to be on this episode. So first thing, before we ask the normal questions for our guests, first thing I want to announce is today is, well, actually it was yesterday, was John Doyle's birthday. In case many of you do not know, John Doyle is the founder of TheForcebook.com. He is the man behind the site. He keeps everything running smoothly. He's known as the Forcebook Calm on the site. If you have not added him as a friend, do so then. And I hope a lot of you are watching live, because that's just great. You can watch all our mistakes and all our fun stuff. All right, first, jump right into the questions for our guest. Oh, by the way, our guest is the past winner of the Forcebook giveaway, which was the May the 4th giveaway. So I hope you got your stuff.
I did, thank you. It was great.
That's good. That's good. All right, now let's jump into the questions. First question is, how did you discover the Forcebook?
Well, I've always been a Star Wars fan since I was young. So, but I didn't have people to share my love of Star Wars with. So, I was just online one day and I figured I'd Google like Star Wars social sites or whatever, and the Forcebook came up. And that's pretty much it. I clicked on the Forcebook and I joined it and been here ever since.
That is just great. 'Cause most people, we found the site by other people, but it's great to just have somebody to realize that there's possibly a social network for Star Wars fans, and hey, let's look it up. How long ago have you been on the site, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm sorry?
How long have you been on the site? Estimate.
Oh, estimate. I would probably say, I don't know, almost a year, or around a year.
That's pretty good. The next question is, how and when did you become a Star Wars fan?
It's kind of a two-part answer to this. When I was born, Star Wars wasn't out yet. I was born in 1974, so it came out in '77. So I was only about 3 when it came out. So
Aww.
my introduction to Star Wars really came when the release of Return of the Jedi. I got to go to see it in the movie theater. And that was where I guess fell in love with Star Wars. So I'm the group that likes the Ewoks. They say that there's like a divide. Like if you're old enough to see the original Star Wars, then you don't like the Ewoks. But if you're young enough to like not see it, then you're a fan of the Ewoks. I've heard that. So yeah, I'm the part of the Ewok loving people. But
Yay!
so yeah, it was '83, so I was probably 9 or 10 when I saw the movie. So that's when I first fell in love with it. However, once Return of the Jedi came out, as we all know, they didn't make movies for years until Episode 1. So
Sorry.
my fandom of Star Wars kind of like was in a lull period until Episode 1 came out. When they announced the release of Episode 1, or that they were actually making a new Star Wars movie, it was like being a born-again Star Wars fan. It just sparked my interest again. So I guess that's my long-winded answer.
Can I add something to that? Or rather, can I add a question to that?
Go ahead.
Do you like Nemoidians? Did you like them when they came out?
Yeah.
You did? You like Ewoks and Nemoidians. Sir, you are a saint.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I was just indifferent. I didn't like them. I didn't dislike them. I just took them as another species.
Oh, that's better than outright hating them.
Nemoidians. Nemoidians. What was it like to see Return of the Jedi come out on the big screen for the first time?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I don't know. Star Wars is just epic, and to see it on the big screen it's such a treat. I mean, I would love for them to release it every now and then on the big screen so we could see it in cinemas. We just don't get the opportunity, really, which is kind of a bummer. But I did, when I went to Star Wars Celebration in Orlando, they actually screened all six movies, I believe, on the big screen. So I was able to finally see A New Hope on the big screen, some 30 years later, or whatever.
That's fantastic.
So that was cool.
All 6 episodes on the big screen, that's amazing.
But yeah, it's a whole different experience as opposed to watching it on, at home. Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because you hear things that you don't normally hear when you watch it on TV because of the the sound systems that they play it on. So some of the sound effects and background sounds you actually can hear. Sometimes when you're watching at home, the audio quality just isn't as good, so you miss some things. So that adds to the experience.
Oh, how much I would give to see Return of the Jedi on the big screen.
Oh, that would be so amazing. With that space
I'm
battle in it?
sure, because at the Celebration Anaheim, I'm sure that they're going to show them. Usually what they do is... Yeah.
To our listeners, by the way, I'm
Yeah,
so sorry for the lag.
I mean, I would almost guarantee they're going to show it. It was something that they did at the last Celebration after the... No, that's okay. It was something that they did after the show floor closed, so they would do 2 movies a night, and I think it started at 7 and they'd go till, I think it was 11 or something like that. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, and as Lizzie mentioned, we do have a little lag, so we have noticed that. But it's okay. We'll work through it. Patience is a Jedi's trait, unless you're a Sith.
It may just sound like I interrupt a lot of people. I'm not interrupting them. It's just it's the internet that's being rude, not me.
Alright. So besides the awesome experience as a kid getting to watch Return of the Jedi when it came out, and falling in love with it over the many years. Oh, here's a good question. Did you collect any of the vintage, well now we call it vintage figures when they came out, and do you still have any of them?
Of course, I did, and that's a big part of it, and I'm sure that's why they do it. They know they're gonna make a lot of money from it, but that's a big part of the experience. Is you see the movie, and when you go to the store, you see the characters from the movies, the action figures, and of course I did. I had a lot of them. I didn't have every one, but I had most of the Return of the Jedi figures, and I mean I was too young to have gotten like the original Luke, but they did re-release some of them over the years. So I did get the Bespin Luke, which would have come out, 1980, the first release. But I think when they released the next movies, they would re-release some of the figures, because I did have some of the Empire Strikes Back figures, and then a lot of the Return of the Jedi figures. Sadly, I did not keep them from my childhood. The only thing that I had left from my childhood was my Darth Vader case, and it was empty. So I've since rebuilt my collection. So now I have, the original Luke, with the yellow lightsaber, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I have several figures now from all three movies. But of course, it costs a little bit more to buy them now. I think back then they were $2 or $3 for an action figure back then.
Oh gosh, that's heaven.
Yeah. But hey, eBay has them.
Yeah, for like $50.
Yeah.
Well,
eBay, Craigslist. Craigslist is a good place to find things.
Let's see. I've been trying to collect the vintage figures for like a year now, because last year I was buying them like crazy. And my local comic shop had a few, but one of my comic shops had like action figures for like $50, and I'm like, no. And they weren't even like in excellent condition. They were in really bad condition. And then this is why I say eBay is I found this seller on eBay that sells, if you get them at the right time, like once every few months she'll put up that she'll sell like a Luke for a low price, but it's only like once every few months. It's weird.
One thing I did actually notice regarding vintage figures this week in the sort of social media circles was a post, someone not on the Forcebook, but a post cautioning people about buying these these vintage figures, because apparently I don't know if this is actually true or not. For all we know, it may just be a rumor, but there are reports left, right, and center of companies in China that are perfectly replicating these vintage figures right down to the specific markings, the trademark information. I almost said Trade Federation. The trademark information and everything. And there might be some collectors out there who they just want the figure. They don't necessarily care if it's the original or not. They just want it for display purposes. But for those who do want the original vintage, the official original vintage figure, just be very, very careful and be certain about who you're buying from, because again, there are these companies out there which replicate the figures absolutely perfectly, but of course it doesn't make them the original figure.
Thank you for the warning.
Yeah, I've heard something like that too. Yeah, you gotta watch out.
No worries. I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's real or not, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that's just common eBay caution anyway. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Little lag.
I always say the best way to get vintage figures are from people that are my age, around their 40s, late 30s. They collected them as kids and decide, they're not Star Wars fans anymore. They just, need some extra money and they sell them. That way, you know that they're originals. And basically, a lot of times they sell all of their figures at once, so you can get a decent deal on them.
Excellent. Excellent advice, actually. That does make a lot of sense. I mean, I hate to make this comparison, but it's almost like taking the same approach as you would were you buying a pet. Your best and most reputable option is to go straight to a breeder themselves, or in this case, a collector who actually had the original figures. And that way you know exactly where they're coming from, you know exactly the condition they're going to be in, and you're more or less assured the best deal. It may end up costing a bit more. I mean, if you're a bit more strapped for cash and don't necessarily mind about the figure that you're getting, then eBay may be the better option for you. But if you are, a professional collector, if you're looking for exactly the figure in possibly the finest condition, I mean, depending on who you buy from, they may have played with them as children, or they may have been collectors when the film came out and preserved them beautifully. But either way, you still get an idea of exactly the condition it's going to come in, and you're more or less assured the best deal.
Yeah.
Excellent advice from both parties. So basically, yeah, you learn from the podcast. You're going to get what you pay for off of eBay, and watch out for people on eBay, because not everybody on eBay or Craigslist or any other websites they may lie to you. And you always have to watch out for that. You have to be very careful. And also you have to be careful in handing out your information on all these websites. And it is good to have a local collector as well. So we already know that Chris is a collector. Besides vintage figures, what else do you collect?
Probably the favorite thing that I collect are the Sideshow 6th scale figures. I have one here just to show as an example. The most recent one that I've gotten, it is the Darth Malgus 6th scale.
Wow.
And we open it up here, and this is, of course, from the Old Republic. And having never played or seen the Old Republic, I really just got him because I thought he was really cool. His costume and his character design.
That's really cool.
So
it's got separate. Are there separate heads?
Yes, there's a battle damaged head, and then there's a pre-battle damaged head, which is cool. With Sideshows, a lot of times they do that. They give you replacement parts. I also have I don't have with me right now, but it's in my living room. I have the Mythos Obi-Wan Kenobi statue, and the cool thing about that is it comes with an Ewan McGregor head and an Alec Guinness head, both aged to approximately 40 years old. So depending on your mood, you can see 40-year-old Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan or 40-year-old Alec Guinness.
That's amazing.
Obi-Wan. So yeah, it's pretty cool. The Mythos statues are my favorite. They're a little pricey, so I only have the one, and I probably won't be getting any more anytime soon. But they're very detailed. They're just really cool. And I have about five more of the sideshow figures, and that's about it. I haven't bought any recently. Kind of taking a break, giving my wallet a rest.
Yeah, sideshow will do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, they're very expensive.
They're very beautiful.
But they're very, very cool.
I think they've actually doubled in price in the last 5 years.
What? I'm sorry. What's that?
Lizzie, can you repeat what you said?
Sorry, I didn't hear you there. Sorry. I said I think they have literally doubled in price in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah, probably. Because their first, I don't know if it was their first wave or some of their earlier ones you could get for $50, $60. Now the least expensive one they have is $100.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it seemed sort of like the average price was about $70, which, I mean, that's still pretty pricey, but at the same time, for the quality of figure that you were getting in the end, it's actually, not a terribly bad price. But now, I mean, that exact same figure would cost, $150 now. I mean, a clone trooper goes for about $150. The new Cad Bane that's just come out was $150, of course. Praying I still have enough money by the time it actually comes time to actually start paying for the figure, since I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I wasn't around when Sideshow was cheap, because they appear to be really expensive now. For example, I mean, I guess all I'm looking at is the statues, like the Boba Fett statue, the Boba Fett prototype armor. He came with a beach towel cape. I wanted that figure so badly, but he was like $500.
He came with a beach towel, did you say?
Yeah, he came with a beach towel cape, like a Star Wars beach towel cape. It was so cool. But it was like really $600.
Cool. Oh
yeah.
Was that the white prototype?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He was beautiful. I wanted him.
I've got the 3 3/4 inch Boba Fett prototype figure. I think that's the one you actually had to send away for.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know they actually made. I think I actually won that in a ForceBook giveaway by Mike a couple of years ago. But I didn't actually know they made a statue of him.
Yeah, it was just recently because it came out in February because I wanted it for my birthday.
Okay.
And Leia from Star Wars: The Galactic Senate, Star Wars: The Communal. I can't really remember the group name right now from Facebook. Yeah, Leia. She offered to pay half the price for them.
Oh,
but
isn't she amazing?
She's a great person. Love her to death.
She is the epitome of, she is the Star Wars fangirl. I don't care what anyone else says. She is the fangirl. She is the, girl collector. She's absolutely fantastic. She will go out of her way to make sure that you're happy.
Just so you let you know, guys, she is actually on the TheForcebook.
Miss Comic Star 83, I think.
Yeah, I think it's also, I think you can look up LEA, that's also her, but she's big on the Facebook, so that's, if you're wondering, who she is. But yeah.
We should get her on here sometime.
Yeah, she's actually on my list of guests that I have to I'm going to contact.
Oh, fantastic.
I have a list of people. So, yeah, sideshow figures, definitely expensive. If you have the money, I give you props. So, yeah. Any more addition? Speaking of action figures, before we get Dom on here at some point, I don't know when he's going to be on here, but he's a collector as well. Before we get him on here, let's talk about action figures. No, I'm just kidding. But the newest, let's see, the new Black series, the newest set of action figures with the Luke Skywalker, and I think they're coming out with another Darth Vader. I think there's another Sand Trooper.
Haley?
And what?
What's it like to have your favorite Star Wars character always coming out in figure form? What's that like?
It's not fun because it costs, because my wallet is never happy.
Okay, that's actually fair enough.
Because, and I hate to say it, I'm going to be mad at myself afterwards. The last Luke Skywalker they made, I think it was the Bespin Luke Skywalker Black series, and, you know, the really expensive one, the 6-inch one, I think.
Yeah.
The sculpt was
terrible.
Awful. Seriously, I've been thinking about giving it away or throwing it away or something because
don't throw it away. I mean, you could probably sell it for a fair amount, actually.
Oh, but then I realized that later in life I'm gonna be like, man, I wish I had that action figure because it's a Luke Skywalker.
And by that point, they'll be, you know, probably like the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. But the new series, I think they're gonna come out with like, I think it's just like a ship coming out. Oh, no, Jabba the Hutt is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like Return of the Jedi. It's just Return of the Jedi wave, I think. I don't know, but it's so amazing, and I want to pre-order it, but it's like $100, and I'm trying to save up my money to go to Anaheim.
$100?
No, like all the figures I want.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant that one Jabba was $100 by himself.
Jabba, I think he's what, 30, 60. He's expensive.
Okay, 30 would actually be a fairly reasonable price, to be honest. I mean,
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Given his relation in size to the other figures, but 60, gosh, that's pushing it.
Jabba. 6-inch. How are you gonna?
I just want to mention that I saw something online about Walgreens having an exclusive Boba Fett figure, which is a little weird, but
Walgreens, really?
apparently Hasbro's going to release. Yeah. Apparently Hasbro had some kind of announcement list or something that said that there was going to be, I want to say it was a prototype Boba Fett figure.
Ooh.
You might have to look it up online. But that'd be pretty cool.
Hasbro, when do we get our 6-inch Newt Gunray?
Google. Walgreens.
Yeah, they should come out with it.
Oh my gosh, what if it was like a 6-inch Newt Gunray with like removable hats and robes that were interchangeable? That would be so amazing. Oh my gosh, dreams that will never come true. My dreams are sad, they will never happen.
Well, it's not unprecedented. Okay. Jedi Temple Archives posted. Let me look. Oh, by the way, the Jabba the Hutt was $40.
That's actually not terrible. I mean, I think
bad.
that's pushing the expensive side of things, but I think to scale, wasn't he something like 20 inches, 15 inches, somewhere ridiculous like that? I mean,
What happened?
something died.
I think it's the Empire.
Hello?
A
Get your
communications
glasses ready,
disruption
it's the
can mean
Empire.
only one thing: invasion.
Invasion.
Hello?
Haley!
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Are we still broadcasting?
It says we're still broadcasting. Let me check YouTube.
Okay, good.
Let me just check on YouTube real quick.
Oh, technical difficulties abound today.
How do I go to my page? Where's my page? Where's my page? YouTube changed its layout again. It's annoying.
I know.
My-
They made the videos ridiculously large. Like, do they have to be that big?
Yes, we are still broadcasting.
Lovely.
Yay.
It literally, when I got on there, it's like when you get on, it's a few minutes behind. So when I got on there, Lizzie was asking the question, "Are we still broadcasting?" So when I said yes, I was answering Lizzie. Sorry, I thought that was cool.
No, that is good timing.
Okay, so we're talking about action figures.
Yes.
So, I looked it up. Jedi News, not Jedi News. JediTempleArchives.com reported that their friends, SWActionFigureNews.com, reported that Walgreens has an exclusive Boba Fett figure coming, perhaps from the Black Series line on tap. I will say that details are extremely murky from what the image of the computer screenshot reveals. It's unclear what exactly it is, but by the price point it seems it could be TBS6, which I'm guessing is referring to something the screenshot of the computer. It gives you an image of a screenshot, which kind of gives you a list of action figures Walgreens has. I will post a link in the doobly-doo down at the bottom after this ends.
Oh my gosh.
Technical term.
Yep, that's as technical as it gets. I don't know who did I learn that from. It's actually somebody says that. I think it's John Green. John Green says that. And I think Hank says it too. Sorry, nerd fighters. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to go into the detail of what nerd fighter is. Because we don't have that long. 8:39 p.m. 8:40 p.m. actually on this side, Eastern time. Whatever time it is, everybody else's side. Let's see. Alrighty. Alright, next. Any more about action figures before we move on?
I want a 6-inch nuke gun ray.
You can send as many emails as
You
you
could probably
want.
write to Hasbro.
Yeah, what good is that gonna do?
I don't know. Spam them constantly, they'll block you.
Yeah. Yeah, last thing I need at the moment is to be on Hasbro's blacklist.
Alrighty. Our next order of business that we're going to attend to in this episode of TheForcebook podcast. Why did I add .com podcast? I do not know. Go sign up to TheForcebook.com. There, that's why I said it. See, John Doyle's birthday mentioned. So yeah, everybody go over and wish him a happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday, John!
Happy
Thanks
birthday.
for everything you do.
Alright, that's enough.
That's all you're getting, John.
We'll virtually send you a cake. A Star Wars cake.
We'll send you an emoji coming out of the cake. You know, like at those bachelor parties. That would be a weird image. Never mind.
In a Leia slave.
That's.
Oh my gosh! Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Oh, that'd be amazing. Can I have that cake?
I'm pretty sure you've already drew that image too, or drawn.
I have actually. Guilty as charged. I have.
Spoiler alert: she's drawn the image of Newt Gunray or somebody in a slave Leia bikini.
It was Rune Hacko actually. It's a really old picture.
It's one of them. One of those Nemoidians. Anyways, now that you have that image stuck in your head, let's move on to, just wanted to put this out there. This will only work if you're watching this podcast within a time frame. Tomorrow, June 27th, at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Warwick Davis will be on Reddit for a question and answer video, guess. So in case you want to check that out, that's there for you. But like I said, you only have a short time to find this information out. If you're watching this on, let's say, June 28th, unless you live in Australia, then this is probably not a good thing to listen to. Okay. Alright, some big news has came out recently. Actually, today even. I think it was like today. Might have started yesterday. The trailer for Star Wars Rebels, the French Star Wars Rebels trailer, appeared a hologram of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm guessing voiced by James Arnold Taylor. And also gave us a date in the trailer that, actually not really a date, just a month when Star Wars Rebels will be released, which was in October. Also, a reason why I'm saying James Arnold Taylor was because JAT announced earlier, I believe it was last week or the week before that he has a role in Star Wars Rebels, but he didn't say what that role would be. So
Did that actually come from Lucasfilm or Disney, or from James Arnold Taylor himself?
I believe it came from James Arnold Taylor himself.
Oh wow!
I'll have to find it. I can't remember. He posted it up on Facebook or Instagram or something. But I'm pretty sure. If I am mistaken, you later. Just not. James Arnold Taylor. So, obviously, according to the trailer, we're gonna have Obi-Wan Kenobi. Which it could be. I mean, it's possible because this is during a time frame that Obi-Wan is still alive. But would he be risking his hideout on Tatooine to just send out a little hologram, or is he? Do you think he is in a larger scheme here in Star Wars Rebels? That he will be one of these main characters? What do you guys think?
I think it would make more sense that he's going to be appearing on a situational basis because of his importance of protecting Luke from the Empire. I don't think he would be a recurring character. He might show up in a few episodes. I don't know. That would make sense to me anyway.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because there are a few Jedi. I believe there are Jedi in the Star Wars Rebels, so they wouldn't have anybody else besides Obi-Wan. So it would make sense. I don't think Yoda will show up though. He's in complete isolation. So yeah, that's
I
all.
really want to see Ahsoka come back.
I hope she does.
I think she's going to be
It would
in
be
the
nice
new
to have
movie.
some closure. You think she's going to be in the new film?
I think it's possible. She would be a little bit older than Luke, so she would still be alive.
I don't think she would. I mean, it's possible because, like, she would. God, she'd be like really. Let's see. Let's think here. How old was she in the Clone Wars?
She's 14 in 22 BBY.
And Luke was what, 19?
Return of the Jedi finishes 4 ABY, so that would be.
And if somebody gives me like.
So that's 26 years after the Clone Wars, and then add another 30 on top of that. She would be old, but not so old that I don't think she would be out of action.
You also have to take into consideration that possibly Togruta race does not age like humans, maybe?
Oh, that's true. That's a possibility.
Also, there's the new Star Wars movie is going to be taking place. I believe it's taking place many years after Return of the Jedi.
30.
I mean, 30 years.
30. Yeah.
Wow, she's going to be really old.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I don't think she'll be doing any lightsaber battles or anything like that. But
it'd be nice if they at least mentioned her, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe when Luke is trying to find out more information about his father or something, he finds out that about Ahsoka. Oh Lord. I have to be right back. 1 minute. My dad is yelling at me.
We're not still recording, are we? Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. I think Haley will probably cut this bit out when she actually posts it. But live listeners can hear what's going on.
So, what do you think about the new additions to the cast that they announced with I don't know their names, but the one woman from Game of Thrones and the other girl they added on?
Well, to be honest, I don't watch Game of Thrones. It's never been something that's actually appealed to me. As far as I'm concerned, if I want to go and see dragons, I'll just play Skyrim. But I don't know. I mean, personally, this is going to sound probably a little bit biased, but I think for the most part, as long as an actor or actress isn't terribly huge, then by that point, then I wouldn't be against them joining Star Wars because. I say this many times, Star Wars has this history of taking, small and first-time actors and actresses and turning them into, household brands, household names. And I would sincerely hope that, despite the fact that Star Wars has changed hands and changed directors, they would still keep on that tradition of taking on these smaller actors and actresses and, turning them into these, amazingly well-known and iconic characters. So, personally, I mean, like I said, none of them are too big at the moment. I mean, I know one of them just got an Oscar, but
Yeah.
I mean, before that, she was relatively unknown. And I mean, the fact that I mean, to be honest, I don't actually have that much respect for the Academy Awards because I think there's too much politics going on in the background to actually really make any fair judgments.
Right.
But the fact that she received a very high accolade for her acting, and after being a relatively unknown actress, I think that says something, and I think I think we can probably have a lot of confidence in her for whatever role she may play, and that's not to say she's actually going to end up playing a huge role. I mean, for all we know, she could be a character we see on screen for all of 2 minutes. I mean, Star Wars has had a history of revealing these smaller, scenes and characters to us little by little, and I think that's actually really brilliant. I remember when Episode 3, the lead up to the release of Episode 3, there were all these teasers all over the place that came, straight from Lucasfilm or things that had been leaked. And what happened was, it gave us an idea of, the kinds of things we would see, even if it was just, like a small background scene, but, without giving too much away about the main plot. And I think that was really brilliant because these small little background scenes, these background characters, they add just as much to the overall film as any lead character, and that's what makes Star Wars so special. So it was really setting the scene without revealing too much, and I hope they would continue with that. What do you think?
Point. I agree with you. I think that's one of the special things with Star Wars is, they use people that can become part of the story, and that prevents the movie from becoming known for the person. So, like if you have like a big name star, then it's more. It seems more focused on, oh, this person's in this movie. Whereas if you have people that are good actors but lesser known, then it's more the composition of the movie that is important.
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely agree.
I mean, you said it very well. I mean, I don't necessarily think a movie should rely on becoming known just because of the person who's playing it. I think that in many ways is actually a recipe for failure in many cases, because just because a film has these popular actors and actresses, just because it has Tom Cruise or Mel Gibson or what have you in the film, does not necessarily mean it's actually going to be a very good film. I think it should be completely the other way around, particularly in the case of a fantastic film. I think the actor should be known for the film, not the film should be known for the actor.
Right, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well said. Yeah.
Thank you.
It makes perfect sense.
It's not working. I'm back, by the way.
Yay!
Yeah.
All okay?
Yeah, just my dad had misplaced something and he was blaming it on me. So, yeah.
Oh, don't you hate it?
I bet it was Wicket.
Huh?
I bet it was Wicket standing right behind you.
Yeah, it was. He's a troublemaker in our house. Always doing something. Alright. Yep. So, but yeah, what Lizzie was saying, and I'm sure what y'all both were saying, that, like, let's take, for example, if we threw Benedict Cumberbatch into the movie.
No, don't do it.
Then,
No, go ahead with what you're saying. I'm saying do not put him in the film. Go ahead. Sorry, ignore me, go on.
Like, for me, if I was not a Star Wars fan, let's say, all of a sudden, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in Star Wars Episode 7. Yes, I'm going to watch Star Wars Episode 7. Who cares about the other 6 films? Let's just watch Star Wars Episode 7 because Benedict Cumberbatch is in the movie, and I'm a big fan of Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, that's basically what Lizzie was saying. That a person will be watching mostly just to watch their favorite actor. Whereas like all the original movies were all actors and actresses that were not well known. Well, not all of them, because Sir Alec Guinness was well known for many of his films.
And Peter Cushing, we can't forget.
Yes, Peter Cushing was also well known for many of his films.
But they weren't exactly. I mean, maybe Sir Alec Guinness, but they weren't, the main 3 characters of the film, which I think was actually very good. It was almost like more like cameo roles.
Yeah, and but like Mark Hamill in that day, he was trying to become known for his TV shows. He wasn't becoming as well known. And Carrie Fisher the same way. I believe Harrison Ford was starting to get out in the spotlight just a little bit, and he got out in the spotlight with, oh Lord, don't shoot me, American
Graffiti.
Graffiti?
Yes, yes. He got out there for that, I believe, and then Star Wars kind of helped, and Harrison Ford became popular for every other movie he's ever been in. But yeah, and the only thing that I really don't like, as a Mark Hamill fan, Mark Hamill, that's all he's ever been known for was as Luke Skywalker. But now he's also known as the Joker in the animated series and in the games.
And Larry 3000 from Time Squad. Did anybody actually watch that? Am I the only one who actually watched Time Squad?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, it was so good. It was on Cartoon Network back when Cartoon Network was actually good. Sorry, off on a tangent here. It's basically it was brilliant. It's basically like these 3 characters in the future. It's this policeman, a robot, which is voiced by Mark Hamill, and this orphan that they pick up from the 20th century, and it's their job to sort of monitor history, and if something goes wrong, they have to go back in time and fix it. And it was brilliant.
Oh my word!
Do you remember it?
Mark Hamill with the voice. Oh my word! I used to love this show.
I know, it was brilliant because it was so funny. It actually had some, adult humor in it that, went completely over kids' heads. Like, there was this one episode where they go back and they have to sort of fix Betsy Ross, so she would sew the first American flag, and she was running this hippie commune, and if you look closely, all the eyes of the people in the commune, they're pink. It's a total drug reference, but, kids aren't going to notice that. That's, something that you're going to notice, if you're an adult. And, I mean, it was so clever because, it was funny, and it was actually quite educational at the same time without becoming overly preachy or, becoming just, a straight-up educational show. It was very much a cartoon, but it did actually teach a few things. It was so good. It only ever had 2 seasons, but... Anyway, sorry, that was my tangent for the day. Mark Hamill fans, go watch it. You'll love it.
I watched it, I just didn't realize he was in it. Okay then.
Well, not only that, he's not only in it, but the robot, I swear, he could be, his name is Larry 3000, he could be C-3PO's brother or cousin or something.
I have to, rewatch it.
You have to go and see it, Hayley. I cannot believe you actually missed. I mean, once you've heard Mark Hamill's voice in the animated roles he's done, he's actually quite easy to pick up, but... Yeah, Go watch it, Hayley. You will not regret it.
I will. I will go watch it. Okay, I made a mental note. Watch Time Squad. Alrighty. So now that we've talked about, okay, so I believe we're all excited for Star Wars Episode 7. Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yeah.
I am.
2 thumbs up.
I'm still uncertain. I'm undecided.
Okay.
I withhold my vote.
That's fine. You'll be one of those people. I'm just kidding.
I just wish we had made it 15 or 20 years ago, but...
I think, okay, here's what's gonna happen. We had 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, and then like we're gonna go back in time, like before episode 1, like pre-episode 1, pre-episode 2, pre-episode 3, something like that. Called it. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make
Like-
prequels with Yoda as the main character.
Yeah, like we went from Luke Skywalker to like Anakin, Obi-Wan. Yoda wasn't really a main character, but he was a main character in my eyes. Who were the main characters? Padme! I'm so stupid. I should be ashamed of myself. Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. So we go from Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia, to Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme, to Luke Skywalker, Han, and Leia, and then we're gonna go back to. I'm just gonna shut up.
Qui-Gon.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we gotta move off this topic because obviously I'm stupid. Okay. Big announcement as well that was announced, I believe today, might have started yesterday. I believe it was only today. George Lucas has been pushing for a collection museum, but I believe it was like California just wouldn't have it, or some place wouldn't accept it. I think they were having like a fight over was it going to be a collection museum or was it going to be something else, and I think the collection museum won, but I think it's going to George Lucas announced that his collection museum is going to be moved to Chicago. So Chicago people, you're very lucky because you're getting a Chicago museum, a collection museum there, and just gives me one reason to go to Chicago. So, yeah. I take it, Chris, do you live near Chicago? By any chance?
I'm in Boston.
Okay.
Well done,
Yeah.
Haley from State.
I should know. I sent his items out to him, but I don't remember. It was a one-day thing. Obviously, so any Chicago people out there, have fun, enjoy yourselves.
Now, just to sort of be clear about this museum, it's actually more. It's going to be holding like George Lucas's like his actual collections of art and things. It's not necessarily going to be a straight up Star Wars museum. It's more going to be about the things he's acquired over the years. Yes.
Mhm. I believe so.
All
It
right.
is called George Lucas's Museum, but
Well, that was the impression that I got. But you know, when people hear George Lucas, they immediately think Star Wars. But you know, we need to remember that he did a lot of films. I mean, a lot of people, and I mean, unfortunately, would say that a lot of his films weren't very good. I think he actually deserves a bit more respect than that. But certainly, as far as things like Star Wars, American Graffiti, and THX 1138, which is very, very underappreciated. I mean, I think he's done some really brilliant works, and even if it's just going to be a museum about his works rather than the pieces he's acquired over the years, there's certainly going to be more in there than just Star Wars.
Oh, definitely. I would imagine there'd also be some things about his life too, more personal things.
George Lucas.
Haley's already on it.
Who wins George Lucas? Sure, let's look at this one. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't read some of the articles I've announced. I just watched the French Rebels trailer right before we got on here, and I was just thinking of topics, but I never got to read this. Chicago over as the future home of his collection of art and movie memorabilia, according to spokeswoman for the museum. To devote a name change from Lucas Cultural Arts Museum to Lucas Museum of Narrative Art and Destination. It's going to be open in 2018, early fall. Billionaire's Legacy Project by the Board of National Park in San. Oh, hang on, what? So it's gonna be for his career. He's made a movie. He recently married a Chicagoan resident and lives here part-time. The museum will house a collection. The museum will house a collection that includes valuable Norman Rockwell paintings, examples of the special effects he pioneered in ILM, and memorabilia such as Darth Vader costume. So it appears it's going to have basically George Lucas's life, what's got him into being what might have sparked him into being a director, a writer, to his collection period. So basically like a Skywalker ranch. No, not Skywalker Ranch. Haley, you're so stupid again. Steve Sansweet owns it. A Ranch of Obi-Wan. It's basically a Ranch of Obi-Wan, but for George Lucas.
That actually sounds really interesting, I think.
It does. I think it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna cost money to go and see the museum, but I think it'll be well worth the trip if any of you Chicago. I can't say weird person's name.
Haley, did you just say Chicago?
I'm trying to say Chicagoan.
Chicagoan?
Chicagoite.
But it says it right here. I deleted I exited out of the page.
Oh gosh.
The link to this, the George Lucas deal will be in the doobly-doo. And you can look up how to say the people of Chicago.
She means the description.
The doobly-doo.
Oh my gosh, it just gets better and better.
The later it gets, the lovelier it is. Alright. The last thing that I have on the list is Harrison Ford's broken leg, which it went from an ankle to a leg. Which the latest news, he's fine. He'll be fine. He'll get over it. He's a big boy. I mean, he's a smuggler. He gets over everything.
I would just like to remind anyone listening at the moment. I mean, I say this whenever I can because let's face it, as the film comes out, there are more and more instances of, quote unquote public hysteria coming about. Unless a piece of news comes directly from either Disney or StarWars.com, it is not official. That's not to say it might not be. I mean, as was the case with a couple of the actors and actresses that were announced, which probably was actually purely coincidence. But unless it comes directly from Disney or StarWars.com, then anything you read is not official. And I mean, there are sources that will report on these rumors, and I mean, there are sites like Star Wars Underworld, I think, SWU. They, I'm very happy to say, they actually label things as rumors, whereas a lot of these other popular news sites and pop culture sites, they don't. And I think that just increases the amount of quote-unquote hysteria that is going around when that happens. So just to put everyone's minds at ease, unless it comes from Disney, it's not going to be official. So it's great to talk about it, it's great to discuss it, but don't lose your heads over something that's not even real.
Yes. A big rumor that started, it was the second, I think it was Disney, Star Wars, somebody announced that it was an official website, not coming to my head right now, they announced that Harrison Ford's injury will not affect the release date, and then not even 5 minutes later, somebody came up with an article that says the release date will be pushed back. And I'm just sitting here like they just announced that it wasn't going to be pushed any further back. Why would you? And then people were posting it on every website. I'm just sitting here saying, get your facts straight. But you can post about your rumors all you want. Until they become official, then I'll believe them. So yeah, Harrison Ford's leg, it appears he's doing better. I think they said he's going to be out for 6 weeks, something like that. I don't know exact how many. But injuries do come with movies, especially one like this, one like Star Wars, where it's not going to be all CGI. It's going to be, some of it will be big, huge sets. I mean, just think what happened when Empire Strikes Back was being made. Let's see. Empire Strikes Back, Mark Hamill broke his thumb when he was getting off of the AT-AT, but it wasn't an AT-AT. I think it was an AT-AT. It was on Hoth.
Yeah, it's an AT-AT.
Okay, AT-AT. When he was falling off, the first time he did it, he broke his thumb. And this is actually a day his little boy, Nathan Hamill, was born. His birthday was yesterday, too. So, that was kind of fun, having your son be born the same day as you breaking your thumb. That's great.
You wasn't able to give a thumbs up that day, I take it.
Nope. And then, let's see, Mark Hamill was also in an accident. I believe it was between the production of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. But there was nothing that was real official. I mean, there was websites that said he was in an accident. They said there was damage to his face, but there wasn't anything that was official on exactly how his accident happened. One day I'll ask him if I get the chance, but I probably won't ask him. I'll probably be too busy fangirling and about to have a heart attack to ask him. Who else had a lot of people had injuries. I mean, that's just what happens in movies. I'm sure there's numerous injuries with other movies, but so yeah, don't freak out about Harrison Ford. He's a big guy. Well, he's a guy. He'll get over it. I don't think we'll talk about that one. So yeah, this kind of wraps it up. I don't want to be too long, so I'm going to call it in right about here. I hope you guys don't mind any input before we end the call or end the broadcast, end the podcast, whatever this is called.
Guess first.
No, I don't really have any comments. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It's been our pleasure. We're sorry Dom couldn't make it.
He actually just messaged me on Facebook. He said, sorry I missed it. I had to go to my grandparents and help them out unexpectedly, and it took a lot longer than I thought. So,
oh, that's alright.
If you're listening, it's alright. You're one of the
Family
co-hosts,
obligations are
so
important.
yes. And I don't expect either you or Lizzie to be at every single one of the podcast episodes. As long as I have one of you, at least, just one. But if I can't have both of you, that's fine too.
If you can't have us, no one can have us.
Yeah. And as always, thank you, Chris, for being a guest on the podcast. It is definitely an honor to have you on here.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Got to drool over your sideshow figures, but yeah. So, well, that wraps it up for tonight's this month's episode of the TheForcebook Podcast. As always, make sure you join TheForcebook.com. It is the only Star Wars social network for Star Wars fans. Also, check I'm kind of in charge of the chats on the site, as well as a good friend of mine, Pat. She was on the previous episode. She does some on occasions, but I am planning a lot of good chats coming up over this summer or winter, depending on wherever you are. So stay tuned to TheForcebook.com for updates on chats, updates on anything, latest news. Join TheForcebook.com to be updated on the next episode of the TheForcebook Podcast. And I think that is all I have to announce for the TheForcebook. So join the site. Thank you all for taking your time out of your day to listen to the TheForcebook podcast. And like I said, watch out for the next episode. Thank you again, Chris, for being a guest on the podcast, and thank you, Lizzie, for taking your time to be my co-host.
My pleasure.
So may the Force be with you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful month.
May the Force and the audience be with you.
May the Force be with you.